Hello everybody, welcome to the first Terragons live stream. I am Corey. I am going to be sculpting, and I just realized that this is still up. Technical difficulties, there we go. So, we thought it would be really awesome if I sculpted while we did a little bit of a Q&A. I got Bryson in Discord as well. I've never actually streamed to YouTube as well, so I want to make sure that's going right. So throw that up there. Welcome.
And hello, everybody.
All right. So, as you know, we have unlocked the base scatter, which was the forest scatter. We've unlocked the masonry scatter, and now we've also unlocked the what's the word I'm looking for? The Arctic scatter. So I have a rough prototype done for a stone wall for the masonry scatter, which I think is going to give a lot of diversity for a lot of different games. I've left it a little bit ambiguous so people can use it for any style of game. I know a lot of historical gamers have reached out and saying, hey, it would be really awesome if we had like walls for formations and stuff. So we did that. You can kind of line them up to make barricades, so they're pretty awesome. But what we're going to do for this, I get back into so as we get back into doing sculpting that I haven't done in a while, I'm gonna just try it out and just kind of, again, this is all for testing. We are not doing the final. I want to get a prototype that we can actually print in our 3D printing facility. So I want to add some cool stuff, but it's not absolutely necessary to be super detailed or highly accurate quite yet. Hello Salty, hello Zeno, hello Dadbod. Welcome everybody. If you have any questions, please let me know. I am most definitely an amateur ZBrush artist, so you get to learn right along with me as I try to just figure some things out. I think I've moved that up. Problem. But you know what? We're figuring out as we go. Pretty simple stuff here. I'm here for the cord. Because, well, let's just try. I want to try a deformation with some of this stuff, so let's just try putting a mask here. Seeing what happens if we... Okay, so I didn't mess it up. That's positive. Should definitely do that, Salty. I'd love to see it. First off, I don't know why this isn't a hard edge. Divide it a little bit. Not quite so bad. Oh, goody. Well, I can always cut off the top. That's no problem. All right, so if I do this, yeah, that's much better. We're gonna do it one more time. But yeah, Salty, I'd definitely like to see some of your sculpts. You're definitely a pro at this, while I am most definitely not. All right, so we're gonna do some very simple stuff here. I think it's Control-I to flip. We are going to just... Actually, no, I don't want to flip it. A Discord for Terragon terrain. There is, but not quite public yet. The one Salty is a good friend who follows some of my gaming streams. So, good friend. That's where he hails from. All right. Now, I don't know. Not at all what I want. Actually kind of looks really good. So what I can do, oh, that's a mask, is that actually I kind of like, because then if I do this one, change it to this, it should obviously I can just flatten it like that. So it looks a little janky now, but absolutely we'll probably make a post either on the Kickstarter or, well, one of our numerous social media platforms for that. We have some big plans for it. ZBrush is pretty janky sometimes. All right, let's I don't want to do any of those things. That I like, though. Oh. I want it to be wider, though. And I just... want to go in all directions. Do X, I believe. Well, no, maybe X, and if I look at this, exactly what I want. There we go. Peaceful Ed, how's it going? Pretty good, pretty good. Just streaming for my Kickstarter, trying to get some information out there and work on the sculpts while I'm at it. All right. I like that. But I'm gonna do this again, and I want that section to be that. I want the top to be slightly different as well. Drag this up a bit. That, and then up, nope, up that way. Well, I hit a button. That wasn't cool. That's unsettling. I don't know why it's doing that, but okay. Good to see you. Good to see everybody here. I guess we're gonna just go with it for now. Alright, so if we look at columns, they usually have a flat at the bottom. Like, I'm thinking it goes down, comes out a bit. We're just gonna do that. I think a round column is kind of what I'm feeling for now. So we're pretty much going to do exactly what we just did. Allow me. Not going to allow me. We'll see what's going on with that. I'm sure later. I'm sure that's going to come back to bite us. All right. Control. I want this to be a little bit taller down here. Yeah, see, that's... See what's really going on with our geometry before I somehow break it even more. Fine. Telling me I can't do it? I really thought that would fix it. Now let's see what happens. Oh, jeez. I just clicked this because deformation. Let's play around with of that. Oh dear. No, we don't want that. I am focused. Focus, Dela. It all this matters. Like this is oh jeez. Not taper. I'm trying out some different things here to get this to work nice and perfect, you know? That wasn't perfect. That was better though. All right, and now I don't like that at all. Why it does that. Dayla, this is a piece of scattered terrain for my Kickstarter. We are doing a little bit of a Q&A and letting people watch as I try and figure out how to sculpt this because it's a little bit more interesting than seeing just us sitting in front of a screen, you know?
Yes, us. I almost forgot I was even here.
Yeah. Wait, I gotta do this. I've got an idea, Bryson. I've got an idea.
That is the beginning of every sentence that ends poorly.
True. Not doing that. Kind of cool if I can do it without like destroying it. It's fascinating, and you were distracting me from work. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Now, we are going to do 4. Here. Flip. Do. I might just do something. This instead. That's not it. Maybe it's just the... Not doing cloth. All right, we're gonna just do my normal thing. Let's do this. Long way, but I prefer... can get the look I want. Still there, Bryson? You haven't fallen asleep on me, have you? I want this to look actually like not brand new with hard edges, but see what happens when we reduce it. Probably should turn. Chiseled, not just, you know, perfectly cut stones.
So, Corey, we have a question in the chat asking
Yes.
about the modular wall terrain.
Yes.
That's big goals.
Yeah, that's big goals right there.
So, the long and short of it is, if we hit that, the dream number of 500,000, we were going to work on introducing a way to create 3D walls that are interlocking with the system. So you'd have basically straight walls that are that interlock with the edges of the hexes.
Yeah, so basically a way to make more specific buildings and things like that, but still use the system.
We have about 10,000 different ideas of what we can do. It's about we can accomplish within the scope of the Kickstarter, mainly because of time constraints and because of manufacturing limitations and things like that.
Absolutely. Getting this ready to go like super detailed and prototyping reduce it. But I kind of what works and what doesn't. So
put all the detail
smooth it all out, and then likely destroy it. Oh dear. Gone. It's gone forever. Oh, the magic wand, huh? You caught that. So, for the magic wand, and Bryson can elaborate a little bit further, but we wanted to make common templates for certain spell effects and attacks.
Yeah, so we were talking about a couple different ways to manufacture those. I think the way that we landed on them would be to create custom-sized.
Hold on, that might be wrong.
Let me
think of the different. Yeah, I think we actually have the templates spelled out. Those were more. Now that I'm thinking about it, they're more specific tiles for specific spells. So if you cast Fireball, a tile that you could put on the ground to show where things are burning. That's what that's supposed to be.
Yeah, apologies. I'm looking at the wrong one.
Yeah. But for instance, the ice tiles that we released, we use that for a lot of spell effects in our games. To kind of denote where ranges are, where areas of effect are. So kind of enhancing that and providing free tiles for people to really bring that to their games as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool ways that we can use the tiles to do different things. Because we can make them pretty much any color. We can really play around with different effects and different things that represent not just one thing but a lot of things. So that was one of the things that we considered when we were developing the system, is we wanted that universality. So you don't just have one thing that is only that one thing forever, so when we were thinking of stretch goals, we wanted to try and expand the system in ways that carried that universality function through.
Universality a word?
It is now.
We're gonna go with it.
It is. Good news.
Perfect. Can't go sounding foolish on the stream,
Can't's a strong word. I'm sure that we will.
That's true.
So while you're working on this, we could talk a little bit about our dice stuff. I think that's a pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah, I think people would like to hear about that for sure.
So, for the freebie that we unlocked at 20,000, we're hand making D20s for everybody who's an eligible pledge level. So we will have a little bit large size D20 with a Terragons logo on it. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. We're going to play around with different color combinations and stuff. Every single person who gets one is going to get something unique and different. So right now I'm working on a few new versions of our master, which we're 3D printing in our facility, and then we're going to mold it and make resin dice.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm really excited about the dice because it's something I wanted to do for a long time, is to make our own dice, and we decided, hey, we're in the middle of a Kickstarter. Why not, also learn how to do dice making at the same time? Because how possibly hard and difficult could that be to mass produce handmade dice? And it's pretty hard, but we're up for the task.
Come on.
We're up for the task.
No doubt. The latest master that I produced here looks pretty awesome. There's a few little tweaks to it, and we'll have a really nice die here pretty soon.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make myself several.
Uh, 019, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I want to make it pretty clear to people that I am far from an expert in this software, but we're learning to prototype and to get a system down. So right now, I could take, this shape, which I think I'm going to bring this in a little bit or make it squat down a little bit, but I could bring the shape in and we could start prototyping with this, and then we could see what overhangs are good, what overhangs are bad. Do we like the shape of this? Do we like the shape of that? Now, this is for the masonry scatter. What I'd like to do for the largest version of this is have the top and the bottom section be separate, and then the center be magnetized, so you can have technically 3 pieces out of the one. Just being like a super epic scale. We can't wait for Terragons either, Dad Bod. We're pretty excited about it. It's been a wild ride, and it's something where we know it's a great product. We know that when people get their hands on it, they're gonna love it. So
yeah, because that's exactly how we feel.
I mean, I was so, and I kind of hate to admit it now that I'm working on the Kickstarter, but like when we first started talking about it, I was so against it. I'm like, you don't need that. And once Bryson printed out his first samples, which were rough, but they worked, I was like, all right, we gotta look into this more. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was born out of a love for the game, at the end of the day. And it was just us trying to make our games more awesome. And I think we achieved that. So when we realized that we had something really cool, we're like, let's figure out how we can bring this to everyone.
And that's the thing is, so right now, to give an idea of our process, I sculpt it and then I reduce it significantly so we can put the magic in it, which is the magnets. However, the program we use, which is Fusion, can't really handle high poly models. So we're looking at other options to get the magnets in without, destroying the look of it. Now, obviously, this has 2 million poly. It won't be that at the end. It'll still be reduced, but we want to get it down to something more manageable.
Yeah, as much as we, love the 8-bit look that we have with the terrain, I think that the scatter looking a little bit more realistic is really nice.
It's not, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be hyper detailed, but it will have details so that it's going to pop, so if somebody is interested in painting it, they will absolutely be able to do so. We don't want it to be smooth. I might be putting any cracks on this or.
So I'm gonna post a picture, I think, probably tonight or tomorrow on our Instagram, showing our stickers that just came in. We just got our proofs for our stickers, which was one of our other stretch goals. That was basically just for hitting our first goal post. So we were excited to get those in. So everybody who backs the Kickstarter and gets the freebie levels is going to get a cool, Terragon Terrain Kickstarter backer sticker. So you can stick that on your box of terrain.
Yep.
To be fair, we don't have a box for our terrain yet.
we just throw everything in a tote.
To show, how durable these things are, we literally chuck them in a bucket.
Like that whole how durable are they and then throwing them in the bucket shtick, that's not just a shtick, that's how we actually store them. That's also because we always know we can make more.
That's true.
Probably. Other. Also, 019, I didn't Blender and Bryce or Maya. I've heard of Maya. Obviously, I've heard of Blender. I've never heard of Bryce before.
I've played around with Maya a little bit.
It's a lot more like what we do with traditional modeling.
Yeah,
I believe.
It's kind of somewhere in the middle.
Heard was that it's great for more rigid body stuff. Never having used it myself, cannot confirm or.
Yeah, but I like that little hint, wink, wink at the end there. That's pretty good. So we do have some giveaways planned. I don't know if we're planning on any tile giveaways just yet, but we were thinking about giving away some dice and some other stuff. Everything is evolving on a day-by-day basis. The Kickstarter was, obviously we always hope for great amounts of success on the Kickstarter, but we never anticipated as much support as we got, and obviously we're very grateful for that. So we're playing a little bit of catch up on some of the stuff, but we're evolving on a day-by-day basis. So I wouldn't count anything out for giveaways.
Absolutely. Yeah, because the other thing right now is if we were to do a giveaway right now, you're gonna have to get either one of the sample tiles or wait until we ship everything. So the giveaway for a tile right now is plausible, but it's not, as in my opinion, as valuable as something more physical. use right away, and that's not a prototype.
So for anybody who's joining us, this is our live Q&A. You can feel free to ask anything you want in the YouTube chat or on Twitch if you're watching on Twitch. Corey is working on sculpting some masonry scatter for our masonry scatter stretch goal, and you guys get to watch along. And heck, if you like it, don't like it, want to see something on it, maybe make a suggestion, be our guest.
Yeah, it's kind of just a way to get you guys more involved. Do you want it more destroyed? Do you want it to look super nice? No. I'm sweating under the pressure. Look at me. I got this. I got this. Again, this is a very rough idea. For some reason, I wondered if I still had symmetry on. Of course I didn't. I wouldn't make that rookie of a mistake. A little bit wider. I think it'll also make it easier to print. Tiny, teeny tiny. Alrighty. Yeah, so the idea, again, with everything in this set is that we don't want it to be so specific that you're like, oh, well, that's always that. So that's what I like, at least for the big ones, is that being able to separate here and here lets you have 3 different pieces you can put anywhere. I don't know. I toyed around with the idea of doing like the vertical line, right? That'd be enough to like. Now, obviously, I wouldn't use this tool to do it. Better tool for it. But if I was to do something like that, again, they'd be perfectly up and down, and you know, I would use tools that doesn't require me to draw a perfectly straight line. I just worry that it makes it a little bit too specific. But I might play around with that in the later designs, because what's nice about that is pretty. That's pretty minor in the manufacturing process. It's not going to impact the design all that much. Drop this back down again. So it doesn't impact the design and the printing of the piece that much. So that's something I could figure out how to do correctly and then implement down the line. But I'm thinking the simplified, slightly ruined column is going to have a more universal look than a Roman or Greek column. whole thing has been a big learning experience. I mean, I had little to no experience with ZBrush going into this, which I'm sure if somebody's watching that is, you know, a professional, oh, well, I could tell you that. But while all of this is going on, we're learning how to do a bunch of different things, kind of take it on ourselves, and we've been pretty happy with the results so far. Wish I had the BF tree here to show off, because one of my favorites so far. The organic shapes, definitely really cool.
Yeah, I'm hoarding all of the BF trees for myself.
How dare you? Now, I'm gonna try something for texture. A little bit of texture. Right, Bryson?
Absolutely right.
So, I'm gonna try and not make it perfectly smooth using that. So obviously I don't want to do that, because it's gonna be how it. Not way too strong. I'm gonna drop the intensity.
Don't mind me. I just have to keep my mic muted because I'm over here rolling this super awesome D20.
To rub it in.
I'm gonna roll it right next to the BF tree. Just
Do
for
it.
you. Here's the sound you're missing out on.
Or I ruin it. Oh. So I can brush and sculpt without worrying about messing up that thing that's probably already messed up.
So, Dad Bod, that aspect of Rybaner's video blew both of our minds.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
We've discovered a bunch of little things like that as we've played with them, but that one we had never come up with. When he did that, it was like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, people people have made trees out of our stuff. It's just incredible the uses people come up with for these that we hadn't even thought of.
So I haven't tested that, Dad Bod. Maybe I'll test it right now.
Have to see. All right, so that makes it look like it's not so much. It actually looks like it's made out of stone instead of, you know, perfectly smooth. And if I wanted to, like, where's good normal brush? I never use it.
So, can confirm that with 3 of the hex faces touching just one tile in that like floating pattern, that it does hold up just fine. And it holds definitely the weight of a mini as well.
Oh, that's why the Z intensity is at its ear.
So there's one more thing you can do with them. In fact, now I'm just playing with this. I just built like a floating ledge.
We're all very proud of you. That goes bam. Yep.
That's a really cool thing. Sometimes these things still impress me.
So do we want something like this on it? Like a crack? Kind of like it.
There are some incredibly satisfying ASMR sounds that come with our self-aligning magnet system. There, everyone who's backed is gonna, I think, come to love these noises, like the noise of two tiles separating vertically.
We'll leave that there and I can ponder it.
Yeah, so Dad Bod, we do plan to try and help people out with that because we realize that's going to be like a huge, like almost insurmountable thing to choose. So we're going to come up with a few different like sort of preset color schemes that are recommended for each of the tiers. That way you at least have a starting point for like the majority of games, depending on like the system you're playing on.
Yeah, because we don't want people to be running around panicking, being like, oh, what should I get? Will I have enough? I mean, it always depends on the situation, like what you plan on using it for, but so obviously you have to take it with a grain of salt, but I think we have some general ideas on what you can use and what makes the best counters for what. Make it as big as we want, because mask. So, because I'm learning, I typically do a couple versions of the scatter anyway. So right now I'm kind of learning what worked, what didn't. Did it give me the look I wanted? Go from there. So this time I'm trying something a little bit different to create it. I'm going to use the H polish right from this with a hand sculpted center instead of using, gives it a little bit more texture in there. May have made it a little bit too big. Right now it's kind of just figuring out how we want it to look. More of a sample than anything. About right. So what else are we working on that's exciting? Oh, we at 75,000 we have the next stretch goal. That's pretty exciting. I think a lot of people will be very excited for it. Let's see, how do I want to put it? It increases the diversity? No. Gives more options, maybe. Dad Bod, we are streaming on Twitch and YouTube. I'm streaming on my personal channel on Twitch. I'm not gonna stream probably more than half an hour to an hour more. This is more of a test to see what people think, how it goes, that kind of stuff. There. Better or worse when I'm done compared to one above it. I think I like some things from this technique more than how I did it before, and some things all figuring out how I want to do this and getting some samples printing. Other big thing is I can make it look as nice as I want, but if we can't print it, well, it doesn't do us much good. Here. Kickstarter closes and rewards are sent. Will you move them to production to allow more? Absolutely. So once Kickstarter's over, we want to fulfill Kickstarter pledges as quickly as possible. And as soon as they're ready to go out the door and everybody's getting their stuff, we will be opening a store. We have some pretty exciting ideas in mind. One is a subscription service where you get different tiles every month, so you can continue to build your collection as you go. We have some ideas in mind for that. We also will have some more items for purchase in the store. So I kind of like them both. This one feels a little bit more structured. I think I just made the center ring a little bit too big. It looks kind of like there's something in between them. But yeah, so that's one of the biggest things, and I'm gonna put my pen down because this is like a really important thing for us, is that when the Kickstarter ends, we're not going anywhere. We are going to be here. We're going to keep developing products. We're going to keep supporting Terragons. It's going to keep growing. So it's not going to be one of those things where you're like, man, I love these tiles, but only can ever get what I got in the Kickstarter because they stopped making them. That's far, far from the case. We're already planning on ordering a ton for stock. We want to, like I said, the subscription service is one option. We're going to have an online store. We want to do conventions when those come back. So we are not going anywhere. Anywhere.
I apologize for being so silent. I'm actually just responding to some messages on Kickstarter right now.
Yes. So the other thing is we are obviously busy working away on questions, developing things. So gives us a second to talk directly with you. All right, so I did the H polish up here. I'm going to do think and maybe get some thoughts here. Size a bit and the intensity more. So, Dad Bod, what game systems are you intending to use Terragons for? Hear what people intend to use our product for. Can tell you it's changed the way we game in Warhammer, D&D. There's a not very well known but awesome game called The Drowned Earth that I see a lot of potential for. A lot of the Battletech players I know are just drooling over them, can't wait to get their pledges. Oreo cookies.
And good news for everyone who's watching, I'm actually updating our builds page on our website to include a whole bunch of setups from different systems. So we just did a little photo shoot and we did some Battletech setups and some Warhammer setups and Age of Sigmar and D&D, just to kind of give people more ideas of what you can do and kind of scale. So those are going up right now.
And yeah, so this started technically, and it's something I remembered when I was doing an interview. Technically, these started for our Kingmaker game as like world map builders.
Yeah, they were the reason why we initially said let's do hacks is because we were trying to represent the natural environment, not necessarily a city landscape. And then when we started using the hexes, we were like, oh wow.
Yep. So me, the square purist, it was instantly sold. And yeah, so it's kind of history from there, really. Kind of crazy, but that's what I think we're trying to tell a lot of people, that the tiles will be with you the rest of your gaming career. You're not going to just leave them behind like so much scatter and terrain before. Yeah, so terrain building is a worthwhile hobby. It's a lot of fun. However, if you try and build something for every session, it gets very tiring very quickly. So I prefer something where I can build it super quick, and then if I want to build, a gate or something, I can, but the majority of my stuff is already done with the Terragons. So, perspective, I believe. This is still in perspective, so it makes it look a little bit funny. On the computer screen, so I always like to see these in person before I make like huge changes. Got some ideas on how the next version will be for the top and bottom, but I kind of want to see, all right, was the size scale pretty good? Was it too much, too little? That's the kind of stuff I'm going to look for when I finally print these. You know, did it visually look like what I wanted, or was it funny looking? Did it miss the mark? Because sometimes you'll sculpt something in this and you're like, man, that looks awesome. Like the first BF tree I sculpted, I loved it, we printed it, and I'm like, roots are too big, too distracting. So you just gotta kind of, I'm thinking this geometry is all kind of messed up anyway. So I think this will be a good test print to get the scale and see how all of this prints, but I have an idea for up here and down here how this texture looks. So typically what we have to then do, wow, I usually have to do this, something called Dynamesh. Basically reduces it. So this load. Yep. See, that's the problem with Dynamesh. So yeah, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah,
we're gonna just leave that alone for now for this video. But yeah, so we're excited to share this kind of stuff with you. I mean, what do you guys want to see out of the scatter? Let us know. I want to get to the point where I catch up and then maybe sneak 1 or 2 extras in there. I have an idea, because the wall, then 2 pieces for Arctic, then we're kind of cut up, and then who knows, maybe I can introduce 1 or 2 more pieces just as a fun little mix it up kind of thing. But we want to make sure that whatever we make is going to be printable, is going to kind of achieve our mission, which is something that you can use for a lot of things. I mean, you could take this, if this was a 3-section piece, you could take out the center section and the round thing could be something in the middle of a town square. There's just infinite possibilities. Because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people compare this to Minecraft or Legos, where you can build something that represents pretty well what you're looking at. And yeah, no, it's not going to be flocked. It's not going to be painted to a hyper-realistic standard. Oh, somebody sculpted a tractor, and apparently ZBrush wants you guys to know about it. We want, once you start getting the miniatures on there, and once you start getting the miniatures on there, once you start populating it, building stuff, it very quickly turns into like, holy crap, now the tractor's up there, finally caught up. You're like, holy crap, like this is crazy how much detail I'm getting. And we've done, you know, everything from having graveyards where the tombstones are just the tiles like that. So yeah, you look at it and you're like, well, that you know, that's not really specific, but you can go out and buy for $20 or craft graveyard set that you might use once or twice. If you did a campaign that was all like centered in a graveyard, then maybe. But
yeah, but even then you start looking at the same gravestone over and over and over again.
Exactly. So what's cool about what we're doing with this stuff, DadBot, is that it's all 3D printed in PLA, so it will be very receptive to paint. So what will be nice is if, and I'm saying that because we have a lot of plans to expand this in the future, but if I don't specifically do, say, a tree that's got white on it, you can, okay, they want to show you whatever this person did too. You can take and you can pull off that thing and you can paint it whatever color you want. So let's say your campaign, you want the trees to be more of like an autumn or fall. You can paint them orange, brown, whatever you want to give it that different look. We're fully behind that. The whole idea of the scatter is to get stuff to you guys that works with the system, that's free for this, and grow the interest in it, and then we can keep developing it and offer scatter that is pretty awesome with anything that you can think of. Stuff that we think brings real value in multiple instances, not just one time and it's like, well, there goes however much money I spent on that. But we're pretty excited to share the scatter. We've got we're hoping to be having an exciting reveal here shortly for the 75K, which I think there's some people that have asked for a part of it, which I think will work perfectly for what they're looking to do. But we always want to get you guys involved. That's one of the big reasons why I'm doing this. Like, yeah, this isn't a tutorial on how to sculpt in ZBrush. This is like, hey, I have to do this anyway. We usually sit in a Discord call. Let's get people involved, get their feedback, thoughts, and stuff like that. But I think, Bryson, do you have anything more you want to add?
Not really.
We're both just super excited. I hope you've all had a chance to watch the video. If you haven't already, go follow our Twitter. It's our best social media platform, if you ask me.
Not so sure about that.
It will be printed in plastic. The problem with resin is resin from 3D printers is very, very brittle. So it will be printed in a PLA plastic, which is also biodegradable. Well, we typically print in PLA plastic. We're gonna do whatever's best material wise for the product. So
we're playing around with maybe PETG as well. It all depends on what's gonna look the best and last.
We don't want people to have any issues with them, even provided as a free add-on, because we've got a lot of exciting ways to expand this in the future. But the base of the system is the tiles, and that's what we know. Most people are gonna be excited about. Like, the magnetic scatter is also awesome because it works with the system, but the real meat and potatoes is the tiles. That's pretty much it. If anyone's got last minute questions, ask now or hold your peace. Gonna be calling it a night for our first one. It was pretty good. I got some ideas going on here. We're gonna be able to print this as a sample and try it out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna call it there.
Thank you guys for coming and checking it out. We're gonna probably try and do these a couple more times before the end of the Kickstarter. Hopefully,
absolutely,
we can, we really want to have an open line of communication with our community, because ultimately this is going to be a community-driven system. So we want your input, because we want to build this thing in a direction that works for everybody and the games they want to play.
Exactly. And what's nice, again, we talked about it in our Kickstarter, but why we chose to stick with, for the scatter, why we chose to stick with 3D printing is we can make a ton more things. We can add more to our library as we go very easily. Whereas if we were trying to cast it in an injection molding machine, it would be crazy expensive. As far as when the next live stream goes, we're gonna discuss tomorrow night. We have another company meeting. We're gonna discuss scheduling plans for a bunch of things. One of them will be the live stream, along with other update video recordings and things. So we will have an idea of what we're thinking more for a specific schedule. They might not all be sculpting. They might be maybe just us sitting and having the 3D printers running in the background. We have a couple ideas of some cool ways to kind of make it a little bit more than just a basic Q&A, but we'll have more info on that, and you can keep an eye out on our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for details from that. And I want to remind everybody that's watching to follow and like those socials, because we're doing a free giveaway to all backers with certain follower goals.
Right. And
Kickstarter.
That's actually all backers.
Yes.
Eligible pledge
Yep.
levels.
Yep. So that's for everybody. So if you want some, one of the tiles is right here, actually. Yeah, but it's a golden tile. If you want one of these for free with your pledge, your physical pledge, starting at the $20 tier, make sure you convince everybody to like, follow, whatever, our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, because that is where you can earn them. And I think that's pretty much it for now. I appreciate you guys, and we're going to call it there. I hope you have a great night, and we'll be in touch about